Hey everyone, so I want to make a quick video demonstrating the blood flow of the heart again and talking about all those different structures using our 3D model here. So first I'm just going to spin this around so that you can see the full shape of the 3D model and all the different veins and arteries. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the covering so that we can see inside the heart. And first we're going to identify the 4 different chambers of the heart. So here, this first chamber is the right atrium. Remember that we're looking at the heart in an anatomical position. So this side is the right side and this side is the left side. Then down here, this section here, it would be our right ventricle. Up at the top on the other side, we have our left atrium. And then our left ventricle on the bottom, this whole section here on the bottom. So your top are both atrium, the bottom 2 are both ventricles, and you have your right side and your left side. So let's start with the blood flow of the heart. It comes in through this inferior vena cava, and if I turn this to the side, you can see that this travels all the way down to the, superior vena cava down to the inferior vena cava. As you can see, that inferior vena cava comes in right here at the right atrium, okay? So superior to inferior vena cava enters into the right atrium. It then travels through this valve here, which prevents the backflow of blood, which is called the tricuspid valve, into the right ventricle. The right ventricle then contracts to pump the blood through this pulmonary valve right here. It's called the pulmonary valve because it's going to leave this valve and go through the pulmonary artery to the lungs. So it's going to exit the heart. So remember, this is called the pulmonary artery. Even though it is blue in color, it is carrying deoxygenated blood. And that's why it's that's why it is blue on this model, but it's still called the pulmonary artery. And it's going to exit the heart through the pulmonary valve, the pulmonary artery, to the lungs. Imagine your lungs are over here. This is where that carbon dioxide and oxygen exchange would take place. When it leaves the lungs, it's going to come back in right here in the pulmonary veins. Now the blood is oxygenated, which is why these are red, but it's going to enter these pulmonary veins into the left atrium. So this section here is the left atrium. From the left atrium, it's going to travel down this bicuspid valve. So the oxygenated blood goes through this bicuspid valve, which is also sometimes referred to as a mitral valve, and it's going to end up inside this left ventricle area. The left ventricle is then going to contract to pump the blood through this valve called the aortic valve. The aortic valve is then going to push the blood, prevent the backflow up into the aorta. This aorta is the largest artery in the body, and the aorta is going to dispense this blood all throughout the rest of the body. And then that cycle will repeat. That blood will travel to the body, it will be used up by the cells, and then it's going to pick up carbon dioxide and bring it right back here to the superior vena cava and start that whole process all over again. Hopefully you found this helpful.